You're deep in the Yellowstone wilderness, alone. The air is still, the trail is empty, until you hear it. Your heart pounds. You turn around, but there's nothing there, or so you think. Hiking alone in Yellowstone might sound like an adventure, but for some, it was their last mistake. Yellowstone is breathtaking, towering trees, miles of trails, and stunning vistas. But don't be fooled by its beauty. This park has some lethal predators, unpredictable weather, and dangerous terrain as well. Most hikers believe it's just another serene nature walk. But one misplaced step can become a nightmare. A bear in the trees. A mistaken turn, and you're nowhere. A storm out of nowhere, and you're stranded. When you're by yourself, no one is there to assist. No one to shout for help. Today, we're exploring the actual risks of hiking alone in Yellowstone, and why it's one risk you'll never want to take. Although its beauty draws thousands of hikers, it's also inhabited by some of the most vicious animals in North America. Bears, wolves, bison, and even moose are on the loose. Most visitors downplay them, believing they'll keep their distance. But in the wild, there are no rules. And when you're by yourself, you're easy prey. The park has more than 700 grizzly bears, and they're not all in some far-off corner. They're in every place. Grizzlies are bigger, more aggressive, and more territorial than black bears. If you're hiking by yourself, you won't see them coming. They can smell you from miles away and perceive you as a threat, or perhaps as food. Over the past few years, several solo hikers have been attacked because they startled a bear. Bear spray? Helpful, but only if you have time to spot the bear. If it's charging at 35 miles per hour, do you have enough time to respond? And what if you slip or fake your death? It might just take a few steps to check to see if you're still breathing. The safest defense? Never venture out alone. In packs, bears tend to shy away from attacking. But if you're alone, you may not even have a chance to scream. Wolves are another threat, but these are often misunderstood. Humans believe they shun humans, and for the most part, they do. But Yellowstone's wolves are not domesticated, and when hungry, they won't think twice about stalking easy prey. A single hiker is just that, an easy target. Wolves hunt in packs, employing strategy and patience. If they detect weakness, they'll push their limits. Some hikers have reported feeling observed, hearing far-off howls that draw closer. Though wolves rarely attack humans, when they do, it's quick and brutal. And cougars, they're quiet and almost invisible. They stalk for hours before coming up behind you. You're alone, and you get a weird feeling? Believe it. You may not catch a glimpse of the predator, but it gets a good look at you. And by then, it's too late. So, are you thinking that bears are your biggest worry? Think again. Bison, yes, those shaggy, slow-looking giants, are responsible for more Yellowstone injuries than any other animal. They may look calm, but they can run up to 35 miles per hour and will charge without warning. Many solo hikers get too close, thinking they're peaceful. One wrong step, and you're launched into the air. Then there's the moose. They look innocuous, but they're dangerous, volatile, and larger than a horse. They charge when threatened, and they don't quit until you're on the ground. Unlike bears, they don't send warning signals, just an attack out of nowhere. When you're by yourself, you don't have anyone to watch your back, someone to distract the animal, and an opportunity to get away. In Yellowstone, even the most innocuous animals can be the ones that kill you. Also, wild animals aren't the only reason hiking alone in Yellowstone is dangerous. Even without them, you're still vulnerable. And when you're alone, Everything is working against you. Your own body, the landscape, and even your own mind. Animals don't think like humans. They don't perceive a solo hiker as a human being. They perceive movement, vulnerability, and opportunity. Predators are programmed to take the easiest prey. A solo hiker, moving slowly, oblivious to the world around them, is precisely that. In contrast to a group, where noise and numbers repel threats, a single individual is helpless. Nobody is there to flail arms, yell, or repel an attack. And animals are aware of that. Consider the case of a solitary hiker in 2015. He was hiking a trail, taking in the views, with no idea that a grizzly was stalking him. No warning, only a full-on attack. No time to act, no one to respond. His body was discovered days later, half-eaten. The bear did not regard him as a human being, only as prey which didn't struggle. Even non-predators are killers. Bison, for instance, will charge an individual more readily than a group. Why? Because one person appears weaker. Nature is merciless. It favors power and penalizes loneliness. And if you walk alone, you've already become the weakest entity out there. Moving forward, Yellowstone is enormous, more than 2.2 million acres of backcountry. That's larger than some states. No signs, no established trails, just miles and miles of trees, rivers, and mountains. One wrong turn, life or death. And when you're alone, nobody has any idea where you are. Hikers like to think their phone or GPS will rescue them, but Yellowstone's landscape is not kind. Thick forests absorb signals. Batteries die quickly in cold temperatures. And the more you venture, the fewer chances you have of finding your way out. The frightening thing? It can take only a few minutes to become disoriented. 1 second you're hiking on a path, the next all directions appear equal. Your mind panics. Your thoughts freeze. You walk in circles. And the next thing you know, you're miles away from where you began, with no idea how to return. In September of 2024, Austin King, a 22-year-old park employee, disappeared after a solo trek to the top of Eagle Peak, the highest point in Yellowstone, and was last heard from on September 17th, resulting in a search that later became a recovery operation. When you're lost in Yellowstone, you're not just fighting the landscape. You're fighting your own mind. Fear makes people make bad choices. Some keep walking, hoping to find a way out. Others sit and wait, but in the wrong spot. Every second alone increases your risk of exposure, starvation, or worse. And remember, at night the predators come out. Yellowstone's beauty conceals its killer nature. One day, blue skies. The next, freezing rain, snow, or raging thunderstorm. The park itself sits between 5,000 and more than 11,000 feet in elevation, so the temperature plummets in short order. A sun-filled morning can quickly become a cold-as-ice night, freezing unprepared backpackers and putting them at risk of hypothermia. Exposure is lethal in hours with inadequate equipment. And then there are the hot springs and geysers, Yellowstone's bubbling, acid-filled death pits. The park rests atop a supervolcano, and beneath its surface is a realm of burning heat. Hot springs reach as high as 200 degrees Fahrenheit, high enough to incinerate flesh. Veer from the path, and the ground crumbles beneath your feet, dropping you into scalding water. In 2016, a man slipped into a hot spring and was fully dissolved in a single day. His body was never found. The landscape itself is another covert threat. Slick cliffs, loose rock outcroppings, and fast-moving rivers make each step hazardous. One misstep along a canyon rim can send you tumbling hundreds of feet. Rivers fed by melting snows can carry even a strong swimmer downstream. In the wilderness, no one is going to rescue you. And when you're by yourself, one miscalculation can be fatal. Hiking alone in Yellowstone isn't just risky, it's a gamble with your life. The wild doesn't care if you're experienced or careful. When things go wrong, they go wrong fast. Perhaps you're hiking, bear spray in your hand, when a grizzly suddenly charges. You panic and fumble, and the bear is on top of you before you can act. If the spray doesn't work, or the wind catches it and sends it back into your face, that's it. Grizzlies don't charge for sport. They are charged with killing. Furthermore, in the event of a sprained ankle, a deep wound, or even dehydration can become deadly when you are alone. Each year, hikers are hurt miles from aid. With nobody to help, even a minor injury can strand you in the backcountry. Blood loss, infection, or hypothermia can make a bad fall a death warrant. Also, when the sun is going down, the trail you believed will disappear. All the trees look identical. Your flashlight is flickering, the chill sets in, and then you're hearing noise in the dark. Footsteps? An attack animal. Panic takes over. Your chances of survival plummet. Additionally, Yellowstone has enormous dead zones with no service. Dozens of hikers just disappear. Some turn up years later, others never do. If you are lost, alone, and hurt, you will not be dialing for help. You'll simply be another tale of a missing hiker in the wilderness. Now that we've scared you enough, let's talk about how you can stay safe while enjoying Yellowstone's beauty. Yellowstone is a wild place where nature calls the shots. But that does not necessarily mean you should steer clear of it altogether. You simply need to be clever. Here's how you can appreciate the beauty without becoming a statistic. First, never go hiking alone. It may be exciting, but in the wilderness, there is safety in numbers. Groups are noisier, scare off predators, and can assist if someone is injured. If you do have to hike alone, inform someone of your precise route and return time. That way, if you become lost, rescuers know where to begin searching. Second, bring the proper equipment. Bear spray is a necessity. It's been shown to deter charging grizzlies. However, it has no effect if it's inaccessible, buried deep in your backpack. A whistle or an air horn can frighten wildlife away before they approach too closely. Bring extra snacks, a first aid kit, a flashlight, and a map. GPS units are wonderful, but never count on technology alone. Third, remain on designated trails. Most hikers become lost because they attempt to cut corners. Off-trail paths may result in loose ground, concealed geysers, or steep cliffs. The park rangers designate trails for a purpose. Stay on them. Finally, find out how to respond to wildlife encounters. When you encounter a bear, do not run. It will stimulate their chase response. Instead, talk in a normal voice, slowly back away, and if it charges, spray it with your bear spray. With bison, stand back. They may appear slow, but they can run 35 miles per hour and will attack if irritated. Yellowstone is a breathtaking place, but survival depends on smart decisions. If you respect nature, nature will let you walk away unharmed. Yellowstone is one of the most stunning spots on the planet, but it's also one of the deadliest if you venture there without preparation. Wildlife, harsh weather conditions, and wide expanses of hostile landscape turn lone hiking into a real threat. The survival trick? Never venture out alone, bring the proper equipment, and stay constantly alert. So after all that you've learned, would you still venture out alone in Yellowstone? If this video brought you back to reality, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Stay smart, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next adventure-filled video.